parents like identify whether, we're just kind of being moody because of this, or if it's really other underlying issues?
Yes, and I think your question is so important. Again, I'm going to frame this in what used to be our normal. In our normal scenario, we struggle with identifying emotions and expressing them, period. Right? Yeah. I think if we're honest with ourselves, we can say that in all transparency. And what makes that challenging is we don't really have a good solid foundation. So if in general, I keep my emotions hidden and I'm not forthcoming and I don't really want people to know what I'm thinking or feeling, then now in a crisis, that becomes even more amplified. But I'm not able to do it to the same degree. I'm not able to hide my emotions. Everybody can see that I just threw the pillow at the end of the movie because it was a waste of 2 hours and I don't like the way it turned out. It just becomes more obvious. And so I think parents paying close attention and not being afraid to ask, Normally, Sophia, you are bubbly in the mornings and I'm noticing that you're sleeping in a lot. Are you feeling okay? And I think this is where, again, we have to work together as families. If your normal homeostasis platform is to, like chew them out and say, I'm fine, leave me alone, then your parents kind of jerk back because they're not really sure what to do. They think they're seeing something in you, but then when they ask about it, they're getting this overreaction. So I think instead of pulling back, I'm encouraging people to lean in. Okay, so I can tell just by your response that there may not be anything that you want to talk about now, but as mom, as dad, I just want you to know that I'm here and I can tell that something's wrong. So if you don't want to talk about it now, but you want to talk about it later, let's chat later. And it really just encourages that leaning in process, not pulling away and everybody going to their own little corners, but allowing the very structure that may be causing the irritation to be the very structure that heals it. And that is the people that you're closest to in that situation. I think a lot of parents they may not know everything about their students and their teens, but they may know what normal typically is. So if normal typically is, they don't ever express their feelings. And then all of a sudden somebody says, I'm just feeling really, really blue. Okay, they don't normally express this, and so they are expressing it now. I need to tune my ears in because they're expressing more than they normally do. I think I would encourage parents to look for patterns like anxiety and depression. If you're not familiar with it, it's often changes in diet, changes in sleep, changes in things that used to cause you interest. And quarantine makes that really kind of funny to pay attention to, because right now, all we may be doing as a family is eating every 5 minutes because there's nothing else to do. Or we may just be sleeping longer. And so that's where I think, again, the asking, hey, I noticed that you slept in till 3 today. Are you feeling okay? Yes, I just don't want to do this paper and I'm honestly just procrastinating. Okay, well, I wanted to ask. And if there's something I can do, I'd be glad to read it or, edit it for you, whatever it is. I think supporting each other in that way. So trying to remember what normal was, but then understanding that normal may look different now because of the close quarters, and don't forget to ask. I think the hard part for parents and teens is we have so much anxiety about just asking each other some simple questions that we just don't do it because I don't want them to be weirded out and I don't want to feel weirded out. So why even say it? But a question of, hey, I know you didn't eat dinner. Are you hungry? Are you feeling okay? Is there any way that I can support you? Because there is a very fine line. And I think right now we do have to be more honest with each other as family members than ever before. If I tend to be a more private person, but I'm telling you lately, if I feel anything, I'm telling everybody. Like, did you hear me cough yesterday? Is that 2 days in a row that I've been coughing? Or do I feel warm to you? Can you feel my forehead? Because the only gauge that I have right now are the people around me. And so I have to lean into them for their support, even if that's not normally who I am. Normally, if I felt something, I'd be like, whatever, I'm fine, take some extra vitamin C and keep it moving. But now the world is different. And if I'm not feeling good and I'm achy and I'm tired, then I want somebody else to know what's going on with me, so that if it's something serious, then I have somebody else outside of my head to tell me, let's go get that checked out. That was a very long answer to the question, but I
definitely agree with you that keeping that family unit, especially during this time, as strong as we can, is definitely a necessity at this point. And not being too afraid, because I know I get uncomfortable expressing myself, and like being a kid, it does feel kind of weird, like asking your parents if they need anything, because it's like, what really can I like give you that you can't do for yourself? But I mean, I think just being able to like take ourselves outside of like everything that's going on and just like being there for our family, I think that's really something we need to focus on more. And I definitely think that support will be more than helpful.
Before you go past that, I forgot to say something else. Because this is such a stressful time, and not every family has this luxury, but we need to do activities that generate laughter. Our brains respond to things. Brains sort of don't necessarily, it sounds weird, the first time I heard it, I didn't necessarily agree with it, but brains don't necessarily process what's reality and what's not. They just receive information. And so we need to place ourselves and our families in situations where we hear laughter, because then our brains will respond to laughter, lightheartedness, joy, and we will begin to function as such. Maybe it's a family game. Maybe it's, doing a scavenger hunt, something, 5-10 minutes a day, just to release the pressure. Maybe it's seeing who can hit the pillow the hardest, the most times in a minute, and somebody else counting to see who the pillow fighter winner is. I don't know.
That's such a specific game.
I've never even thought of that game before. So if it is a game, man, I should have marketed it. But whatever it is that we do to generate some joy and some fun within our families right now, I really believe could be healing, because there's enough to worry about unless we're intentional about adding the element of joy and laughter and fun, whether it be a movie, or I don't know, hiding somebody's socks, just take all the socks out of everybody's drawer one night before they go to bed, and in the morning when they're trying to find socks, what's happened? The sock thief has come. I don't know. Whatever it is that you do to add an element of joy into your family and into your day, I think would be helpful.
I know my mom has been, I think like the first few weeks she tried to like do like family walks or whatever, and then I feel like she was like, I can't be an everyday thing. But I definitely agree, like we at least try to do like a family movie night or something like every few weeks, a little bit more than we did before this quarantine. And I definitely have seen like the benefits of just like having everyone just like in one place to just like de-stress. I definitely think that's super beneficial.
Have you ever seen there like a huge glass jar, like a mason jar? It doesn't have to cost anything. If you don't have a jar, you can use an empty oatmeal container, whatever it is. Get your family together and have everyone list out on 2 or 3 sheets of paper 2 or 3 things you would like to do with your family, and dump them all in, and then everybody gets a different turn each night of the week to pull one out. And then you're all engaging, and you're doing something that at least one person in the family is going to benefit or enjoy, but you're doing it together, so it's for the benefit of everybody.